Here we are again, guys. UFC 150. What can I say about this card? Well, this card is not a blockbuster, but you know, it's a decent card. I've been having a lot of issues with. I think that the UFC in particularly is throwing a lot of shows, kind of an overflood of fights. We have the free fights, FX fights, pay-per-view fights, Facebook prelim fights. I mean, it's just a lot of fights, and that's because their roster is getting bigger. I understand that. But I used to remember where there used to be that once a month fighting, you know, where it was like great fights in that in that 1 month of pay-per-view. But we necessarily don't have that anymore. But I still do appreciate all of the fights and being able to see everybody that I want to fight within the fight multiple times a year. So I guess that's the only way for them to actually do that. But let's get on to the my predictions for UFC 150. Now, this main event on this one will be the rematch between Ben Henderson and Frankie Edgar. So, but let's first start off with Justin Lawrence and Max Holloway. Well, this fight here, you know, both of these guys, I know Justin Lawrence is, you know, especially if you read the forums and whatnot, everybody's starting to like him and saying that, you know, he's going to be, you know, probably one of the next big things. But in my view, I feel like he's a little underdeveloped, and I'm just not really following that trend right now. Then we have Holloway, who isn't necessarily the best, but he has decent stand-up and good takedown defense. And for that, I think that, and it's solid. It's not like a wishy-washy thing. He has a solid takedown defense and stand-up. So I'm going to go with him because he has a lot more offense. So I'm going to pick Holloway on this one. He's probably going to win by decision. Okami versus Buddy Roberts. I think Okami was actually supposed to go against the knee breaker, which is Paul Harless. I think I may have chopped the guy's name, but regardless, he's the guy who he always, you know, grabs on that leg. He just got beat by Alan Belcher. So I think he's out on an injury. So they put Buddy Robertson in there, which in my view is not the same caliber of fighter as Okami. Okami, really, if he loses this one, it will be directly on him. I mean, anything can happen in MMA. As we all know, everybody has a puncher's chance, but there is just so many ways to win for Okami. So I expect Okami to win this one by submission, third round. Jake Shields versus Ed Herman. You know, Jake Shields, you know, he's not necessarily a great stand-up fighter. Great chin, great on the ground, obviously, great jiu-jitsu player. Then we have Ed Herman, who I believe can surprise us a couple of times when it comes to his stand-up, especially against a guy like Jake Shields. But it's really hard to hurt Jake Shields, and he has proven that time and time over again. You can hit him, but you know, especially when it comes to the follow-up or the counter to that, or a setup to a counter, it's very hard to follow up against Jake Shields. So I think Ed Herman will be able to surprise us. Do I think he's going to, you know, win, you know, just demolish Jake Shields? No. I think what's going to happen is he's going to land a couple of shots, get taken down, and then once it gets to the ground, that will be Jake Shields' world. And, you know, it's just a different caliber level of when it comes to ground fighting. Of course, Ed Herman is good on the ground, but nowhere at the level that Jake Shields is. So I see Jake Shields winning this one by submission, third round. Cerrone and Melvin Guillard. Melvin Guillard is one of those guys who he has that one knockout power. He has a crazy right hook. But other than that, that's it. Especially when it comes to going against guys like Donald Cerrone, who could just win so many different more ways than Guillard could win on this one. Guillard is going to go in there and try to hit him with the right hook. That's it. He's not good on the ground. His takedown defense is decent, but most of the majority of the time he gets taken down by guys from jits players, wrestlers, just almost at will at some points. And he's only looking for that right hand, that right hook. And Donald Cerrone has multiple ways. His kicks are thunderous. He's probably going to kick him to death. Just do whatever he wants in this one. So I really don't see Guillard winning this one at all. Cerrone beats him almost in every aspect of this fight, other than that one-hit knockout power, which Guillard does have that in his right hand. So I see Cerrone winning this one by submission, third round. The main event, Frankie Edgar versus Ben Henderson. This is a rematch, obviously. Ben Henderson being the champion and won the last fight that they had. The biggest thing is that people say that some people say Frankie Edgar won. I personally scored the fight for Ben Henderson. I thought that he won not easily, but he did win that fight. But there's a little controversy in it. But my main thing is that I believe that this fight is going to rematch. It's going to just be the same as the first. I think that Frankie Edgar you can never count the guy out. He has great grit, heart, will, whatever you want to say. He definitely hangs in there. But for the hits that Frankie Edgar takes in the division he is in, being the smaller guy and getting just hit a lot, and you have to admit Frankie Edgar gets hit a lot, especially over his last few fights. Is just getting mollywopped by these huge, monstrous guys in his division. And that's just not good for you. That's just not, for the long run, it's just not good for you. And I just think that he's going to get manhandled in this one again. Try to go for a takedown and get thrown to the side. Or try to, do anything that's physical and just get outbeaten because of the guy is stronger and faster or equal in speed. And when you go in and have this in cardio, both of the guys have great cardio. So I think that in this one, Frankie is going to learn that he needs to drop down a weight class, because I don't see him losing this one and staying in the lightweight division. He's going to drop down and maybe go against Jose Aldo or maybe even do a warm-up match before he even does that. But I think that is the real division, the right division for him, not lightweight. So I see Frankie Edgar losing this one by decision again, keeping Ben Henderson the lightweight champion. So guys, what do you guys think is going to happen in UFC 150? As normal, please comment, subscribe, and rate. So this is MMA Fighter Nation, and I'll see you guys on the UFC 150 review.